Hello, and welcome on in to another episode of the Whiskey Crusaders. I'm Will.
I'm Sarah.
And I'm Matt.
Today we're continuing our liqueur series with Luxardo.
Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button and click that notification bell. Matt, why don't you give us a little info here?
Alrighty.
And the proper name, I suppose.
Luxardo Maraschino Originale. It's a beautiful bottle. Lots of cool embossing here. A little cool red cap. Nice wicker straw around it. It's very cool. All right, so this actually has been around. This is a 64 proof liqueur. It is obviously it's a cherry flavored one, but not cherry like the fake cherry. This is a real cherry flavor, and I got a really awesome history on this one. So 64 proof, been around since 1821, is based on the recipe from the medieval Dalmatia region, which is the lands and islands on the Adriatic Sea. Zara, which is where this is from originally, was the Venetian capital for 400 years before it was overtaken by Napoleon and the Austrian-Hungarian Empire. Guillermo Luxardo was a representative for the Kingdom of Sardinia into Zara, and his wife wanted to make the old recipes that they did in Malacca. So they went around and they created it, and it was so good it gained the privilege of the Emperor of Austria, which is basically like a royal warrant in Scotland. So it's the same conceptually of that for them. It was the most modern distillery in Europe in 1913 in the Austrian-Hungarian Empire. Then, unfortunately, it became part of Italy in 1918 after World War I, as obviously the Hungarian Austrians were defeated. Then after this other war started called World War II. And you would come to the harbor, and there's this massive, beautiful distillery. Well, unfortunately, we bombed the piss out of it during World War II. So needless to say, no more distillery at that point in time. And then so the Germans left, and so they kicked the fascist Italians out. Then the Germans moved in as they were leaving, and then the Germans got kicked out by Tito and his partisans from Yugoslavia. So yeah, it's been a really shitty day for those guys, unfortunately. So not great.
What's going on there, man?
But it gets worse. So Pietro Luxardo was the head of the family time. He was kidnapped and murdered during the war, as most of his brothers and sisters were. So one brother of the seven survived the war, and he went across northeastern Italy, and they started a new distillery there in Torreglia in 1947. So they had to plant new crops, everything. So they had to find a region that could plant exactly the same types of trees there, so that the Po Valley of the Ugain Hills were similar to the Malacca. So now currently the seventh generation still owns it, so it's still family owned to this day, which is really pretty amazing considering all the crap this distillery's been through. So they're one of the most modern and coming online. They still use the same recipe. So how they actually make it is they harvest the Luxardo, the marasca cherries, which is with the leaves and the branches on them, and they distill all of it together. And then infuse it with the alcohol, sits in a vat for 3 years, then distilled together. And this is on a pot still, and they take the heart cuts. And then it's mature for an additional time in ashwood vats. So that's a lot of effort that goes into this.
Wow.
So then, of course, they add water and they add a little sugar. They add the sugar to lower it down to 64 proof from what it's at. So the red cap these are all put on hand-done, the red caps, but it's still to this day. The straw at the bottom represents, so back in the day when they had these in the little wooden carts and they go the little donkeys or whatever around, and there's a cat. They wouldn't fall over and be broken with the glassware. So this protected the bottle was with this straw. It's actually had a use for. It's kind of cool, so it's pretty smart. It's also non-GMO, kosher, vegan-friendly. It's part of the Hanky Panky, the Il Santo, the Pamola Bianca, the Red Hook.
Oh, these are drinks.
And the Aviation. So all sorts of cool things are made out of this.
You started off with the part of the Hanky Panky. I was like, what? They're drinks. These are drinks they're part of. Okay.
All right.
Well, who doesn't start the Hanky Panky with a Luxardo?
Luxardo Curie,
I mean, depends on what.
And of course, this is the same Luxardo that makes the very expensive Luxardo cherries that are world famous, that are like $20 a jar, for good reason, because they are delicious. They're not those crappy sugar infused little maraschino cherries. This is the real stuff, and the good stuff.
You can tell it's the real stuff off the nose.
So good.
It's cherry for days. Cherry.
Oh, it is.
Cherry.
It's cherry liqueur.
It almost has like a juniper feel to it too.
Ooh.
Yeah, you smell cherries, simple syrup, almond.
It's very floral.
Mm-hmm. And then I like that juniper note. It's not
all
all the way down the gin line, but there are gin aspects that are popping up in it.
And what that comes from is the leaves and branches that they distill it with the whole thing. And you can definitely get leaves and branches in here, no doubt.
Yeah. Do we know about how much time they spend maturing this?
3 years.
Wow.
So it's a long time.
It's
not a short period.
No, that's a big commitment to your brand.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, so like I said, I couldn't believe the history I found. This like, holy crap. And it smells good. Yeah, I looked for this for a long time at Mr. Boston book, and maybe 6 or 7 years ago, I finally found a bottle. It took a long time.
Do it. Do it. Just do it.
We have a cat that's about to make a bad mistake. We're just sitting here watching as
Do it.
the hilarity may or may not unfold.
We have a dog bed that's about this thick.
Yeah.
It's like
it's a good thick
memory foam dog bed, and it's leaning up against the back door right now to get it out of the way, and it looks like she's about to try and walk across it.
Well, this should be entertaining.
It really should. That's why just do it.
We're waiting. Just
do it, Kitty. Do it.
All right, let's take a drink of this thing.
So I like the smell.
Yeah, the smell is good. It's just very sweet, which is not typically my palate.
You're not gonna like it.
It's sweet cherries, chocolate, vanilla, nutty, and orange zest. But it's not as sweet as you thought it was probably going to be.
No,
but it is really
bitter
sweet.
cherry.
Bittersweet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and then that orange actually plays a little bit of a role in tamping down the sweetness. It's almost an orange rind.
Yes.
Or orange zest.
Zest, like the peel.
Where it actually has a little bit of a bitterness in there as well.
Right. I like it. I like it.
Delicious.
I like cherry.
I also use this in old fashions. Like this is one of my ingredients that I use. I use monkey shoulder, this Grand Gala, simple syrup, and the bitters. So this is one of my secret ingredients I always use in my old fashions.
What is
because it gives us the nice cherry and a little bit of orange in it. It just makes it really good.
What does this run price wise?
It's like $28. It's not expensive.
We might have to give that to Dad to try in his old fashions.
Yeah.
Because he likes
it was because somebody was telling me they were using like cherry juice. I'm like, nah, it's gonna make it too sweet. So I was like, this will make, and it turns out awesome.
And it adds something to the proof.
Exactly,
right.
And it adds proof. It's just it's the only thing that's not alcoholic in there is the simple syrup.
Right.
I'm like, nope, I add alcoholic stuff because it makes it better.
And I'm not a fan of old fashions with too much or really any simple syrup. I would think that adding this would be plenty of sweetness for my.
For you, yeah, it probably would be.
Take the simple syrup out.
Right, replace cherry
it with this.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then put a Luxardo cherry in it, and it's
done.
Delicious.
Yeah, I actually like this a lot, and I mean,
I'm going to put a little bit of this with my tea later on tonight.
There you go.
I'm going to have a little bit of Lapsang Souchong with that smokiness, and I'm going to add a little bit of this cherry. And I think
what this would be really good on? Some vanilla ice cream.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah, that'd be really good.
Yeah.
It's one of those dangerous ones. It's not not bitter. It's just that in between, the perfect in between.
Exactly. 100% agree.
Yeah.
I like this. I like it a lot.
Yeah.
Great job. Good. They do some really amazing stuff with these liqueurs over in Europe. That's for sure.
I mean, we don't really keep a whole lot of liqueurs in the house, but I might have to pick up a bottle of this.
Quite good.
Yeah. All right. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button and click that notification bell. And until next time,
keep on crusading for the liquids in your glass.
Cheers. I like that one. You know. It's just a little bit too sweet for my palate. It's not that I don't like it. It's just we might have to give Dad the rest of that sample to try.
I agree that this would be really freaking good in things. Like great added.
All right, let's move on to.
We're gonna move on to Dom B&B.